Hey guys, Mackay here with Ironside Ranch, and today we're going to talk a little bit about real estate. So, for those of you that don't know, Amanda Lynn, she's been a licensed real estate agent for years now, and then I own Timberline Inspections. I had this before her and I got married. See, Timberline Inspections. And we do property inspections, home inspections, commercial inspections here in Birmingham and Montgomery down in Alabama. And we're a multi-inspector firm that we do it mostly for real estate transactions. If you've never bought a house, that's something that generally you have done. But anyways, so we own this company together, and then we've made our living in real estate for the last 5 or 6 years, and have done very well with it. As far as buying and selling and flipping houses, as well as just doing stuff, being involved with the transactions on the advisory side of things, and. So what we want to talk about today is more related to buying farmland. Now, we're going to have a whole series on real estate stuff coming out, and we're going to be doing this over the next, I don't know, probably 2 months. We'll be trying to do like a real estate thing, and probably going to be every Thursday. We're going to try to get these videos out to you guys. But we're just going to talk about buying and selling properties. Specifically, we're going to be going towards farmland, homestead type property. So we're talking about those things that are between 20 and 500 acres, right? So when you start getting real large properties, the rules change a little bit. So when you start getting over that, like 1,000, 5,000 acres, the rules on things change a little bit. And when you start looking at houses in subdivision, the rules change a little bit more. So specifically, these are what we're looking at, those homestead style properties that are in that range. And really, we should even say probably less than 100 acres, but we'll go all the way up to 500 acres because the rules kind of stay the same there. It's when you start getting over that there's some different things that you're going to do. Now, the thing that we want to talk about in this video is we want to talk about rights. There's basically 3 types of rights that you have with your property. You have mineral rights and surface rights are the 2 categories that everything falls in, and then we go ahead and add in water rights underneath that, because even though water rights, I believe, technically fall under surface rights, they're separate enough because they have kind of their own rules that go around them. Each state is a little bit different. The municipalities get involved, and water rights get very complicated. So now this is just a broad overview. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a transaction coordinator of any sort for real estate transactions. Like I said, I've just been in this industry for a while and know a couple things about it. Amanda Lynn, she can actually give you some advice with her license, but again, that's specific here to Alabama. So let's talk about the first one being one that everybody worries about is mineral rights. Everybody always worries about mineral rights on their property. Do I own the mineral rights? Is somebody going to come in there and butcher my land? The reality of it is that it's very difficult for them to do that for a number of reasons. There's environmental regulations that come into play. There's a bunch of regulations on where they can do it at. So if there's subdivision right next door or there's other houses around, it can get very difficult for them to do that. They have to be so far away from residential areas, and so there's a lot of regulations on them. Now, the legal requirements for them when they do this is they don't have to pay you. Generally, they don't have to pay you. There are exceptions. Generally, they don't have to pay you. They can just come on because they own the rights, and the statutes are all there. I forget what the statute number is, but they can come there, and as long as they don't do any more than what is necessary to attain those minerals, they can basically use the land how they need to and can't do anything to stop them. And so that's the downside to the mineral rights. The plus side is that it's a very rare issue. It doesn't really come into play until you start getting over 100 acres, because anything smaller than that, you generally have enough buffer around you that they can't come in here. It'd be virtually impossible for somebody to come in here and try to do anything with the mineral rights, just because we have so many small houses and farms all around, and that it's a very residential feeling area. Even though we have our cows here, even us, we have to use small cows. Y'all can see they're not very big. They're these little Florida crackers. We have to use small cows because of the land mass here. So that's one of the problems with this, is that we have to have to deal with small land. And it's hard for them to come in there and do that. Now, when you start buying properties that are 1,000 acres or even 500 acres, or if I was doing it, if anything over 200 acres, I'd probably figure out who owns the mineral rights and what are the chances of them actually being able to come take it and access those minerals. The other thing is, though, is that the minerals, everybody worries about this, but there's not, yes, there's minerals in the soil, but do you have any idea how hard it is and how expensive it is for these companies to come in there and actually survey and try to take those minerals and prospect on the minerals? It's incredibly expensive. They're not going to do it unless they're reasonably certain that there's something there. And so it's just not a huge issue that you deal with as far as people coming onto your land and taking the minerals. So my bottom line is that I would try to get the mineral rights if at all possible. I would figure out who owns the mineral rights and see what that company has done with them in the past, or that person. But I would not give up a good piece of property if I didn't own the mineral rights to it, unless there was something there to suggest that they were going to come in there and devastate the whole area, and I was going to have oil well pumps all over my property. I would just not let it get in my way of purchasing what would be a very, very nice property. You can try to purchase mineral rights in the future, but that's pretty difficult to do. They generally don't want to sell them. Even if there's nothing there, they don't tend to want to give them up. Mineral rights in the United States, like I said, everything is sold. You either have surface rights or mineral rights, and then they can be broken up from there. The mineral rights can be sold off to other companies, so this company can sell a portion of mineral rights or sell a lease to another company. There's options there as well, and it gets very convoluted. But bottom line is, you want to know who owns the mineral rights, how they've handled them in the past, and how they've handled situations in the past. Because some of those companies will pay people to come on their property just because of the PR of it. They want to. It's easier for them to lease a spot for their well drilling company or for them to put their well, and to not have somebody mad at them that's going to cause a fight and that's going to get PETA and the EPA involved and cause all these problems for them. It's easier for them to pay you a small salary every month to just let them have that little piece of property, and then they'll maintain the area around it and keep things nice. And so it's not actually a horrible thing to have these mineral rights. People really focus on this, and in my eyes, it's just not a huge issue. The other right, the right that's more important is the water rights. To me, that's the big one. I want to know what my water right capabilities are. If I live in Wyoming, I have to ask the government permission to drill a well. It's a real hassle. Then again, down here in Alabama, we have so much rainwater, so much groundwater, it's not an issue. We had a well drilled the other day. It was $6,000. I didn't have to pull a single permit or anything. We just had them come out and drill it. They punched a hole in the ground, put the pipe in, and we were done. And there's no approval process with the state government or anything along those lines. And not every state has that. In Colorado, for example, the state views the water as their right, and they own everything. And so you can't even collect rainwater because they want to say that then belongs to the state and that you're stealing property from the state. Absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, here in Alabama, realistically, the landowners own the water rights. Unless there's a stream or something passing through your property, those streams are generally considered public domain, and that the public can use the waterway going between it. But even that, there's a bunch of rules on that. It gets really convoluted because there's different organizations that manage water rights. Right? You have your state EPA office and your agricultural office. You have the federal EPA, and then you have the Army Corps of Engineers, which has some weird jurisdiction over federal waterways. And so it gets really convoluted and very complicated. But cows are interested in what we're talking about today. I don't know if y'all can see that. We don't have any happy cow videos like Ninja wanted. Anyway, so we've just got cows. Anyways, guys, so that's how the basic premise of your water rights work. Now, your surface rights, this is the one that's very important. You want to make sure that you understand who owns all the surface rights. And you would think that it'd be very simple and that you would just get all the surface rights when you buy the property. But one of the surface rights that's branched off that can go away from the property that you don't have any control of is the timber rights. And you want to make sure that you have the timber rights. It's not a very common issue, but it does pop up where somebody has purchased the timber rights on that property, and they can come in there and devastate that property at any point in time. They don't have to have your permission, and they will take all the timber on the property. And it's a real nightmare when that happens. And it doesn't matter what you planted. You could have planted a full orchard, and if they want those peach trees because peach suddenly became really valuable, peach wood became really valuable, or they have a deal with a smoker and all of a sudden they want all your orchard trees because those fruit woods go real good for orchard chips, they can come in there and devastate them. You don't actually own the tree that you planted. It's really convoluted how that works. Again, it's not a super common issue, but it's a big enough hassle when it happens that you want to make sure you understand what's going on there and how that comes to affect you. The cows are fun to watch, aren't they? I don't know. They give me enjoyment. So, anyways, guys, those are the basic long and the shorts of how your rights work. Go down to your probate office. You can figure out who owns the rights to your property. Your title search company, they can help you figure out who actually owns it and who owns what rights. Bottom line is I would not give up a good property over mineral rights. I would turn down a good property if somebody owned the timber rights to it or the water rights on there, and that I had issues with the water rights. So make sure you know where you're going to be getting the water for that property. Can I drill a well? Can I pull water from the pond? Who owns the water rights? Now, the one caveat on the timberland is if you're going to turn it all into pasture anyways, you might be able to get that timber right back for pennies on the dollar, because you might be able to then turn around and say, hey, we'll buy the timber rights back. You're never going to get to log this place anyways, because I'm going to keep this all cleared and cut, and this is solely for my cows to graze on, and you're never going to have a chance to grow timber on this. I'll buy it back from you for 10 cents on the dollar, and then you can at least recuperate some of your money, and I get to maintain the rights in for my property. It helps me with my property value. You might be able to work a deal like that if you just go to them and be honest with them and tell them you're never going to own this land. This is going to have grass on it forever. I think that's it, guys. Like I said, we'll have this real estate section. We're going to try to do like 5-10 minute videos on real estate. The same way we do like our tractor tip on Tuesdays. We're going to try to do something similar for real property here on probably on Thursdays, like I said. We're not going to have this one necessarily every week, but I do want to throw out some real estate stuff over the next couple months. Madeleine's going to do some of these videos because, like I said, she has a world of knowledge on real estate. I wanted to throw out a special thanks to the Economic Ninjas channel. All y'all that came over here from there, I really, really appreciate it, guys. It just blew us away how much support we got from that channel when Ninja sent all y'all over here. We really appreciate that. If you haven't seen that video and haven't checked out his channel, Economic Ninja has a great channel, guys. Tons of information over there. So if you're one of my original subscribers and haven't gone over there, please go check out his channel and go subscribe today. He's just got a world of knowledge. I wish I could just sit down for an hour and pick his brain and just do an interview with him and just touch on every subject that he knows about. His world economic mind is just out of this world. So I highly encourage you guys to go check that one out. Thank you so much for coming over, and I think that takes care of all of this. So talk to y'all.